In Catholicism and other Christian traditions, praying to saints or Mary is not seen as worshiping them like God.
Han Meditations.
Hey guys, as you can see, I have all these journals. The link will be in the description. So go ahead and check this out, and it'll be in Amazon. Go ahead and get the book if you want to support the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Hello guys, I am Han. This is Kelly. We are Han Meditations. Hi. We're back with another interesting video where we're really going to get into the philosophical reasons behind Christianity and just really figure out what's going on with Christians. Are they technically pagans? What's going on? We're both raised Christian. We're both familiar with it. And I was raised Baptist while Kelly was raised Catholic. And there are certain things with Catholicism that didn't really make sense to me whenever I was hearing more about it, where she was telling me that they can pray to Mother Mary, they can do different things. And I was like, why are you praying to anyone other than God? So that was an interesting thing that they're taught they can do that, where when I was taught that we don't do certain things like that. So let's get right into it. This is going to be an interesting video. Let's just see what's going on.
Let's go.
Hello, GPT. I have a question about religion. Now, considering that Christianity incorporates a concept of the Holy Trinity, which involves three distinct persons and one God, and also in certain sects of Christianity like Catholicism, where you can pray to Mother Mary and worship other saints and other people, is this technically paganism or close to paganism in your opinion? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no and then explain your answer, please.
No. While Christianity, particularly in Catholicism, includes the veneration of saints and the Virgin Mary, it is not considered paganism because the core belief still centers on one God. Paganism typically refers to polytheistic religions with multiple gods, whereas in Christianity, saints and Mary are not worshipped as gods, but are revered as intercessors or holy figures. The Holy Trinity, though complex, is understood in Christian doctrine as one God in three persons, not three separate gods.
So if it's three separate gods in one person, explain to me why praying to a human being is allowed if they're not God.
In Catholicism and other Christian traditions, praying to saints or Mary is not seen as worshiping them like God. Instead, it's viewed as asking them to intercede on your behalf, kind of like asking a friend to pray for you. Saints and Mary are believed to be closer to God due to their holiness, so Catholics ask for their prayers or assistance in approaching God, but do not see them as divine figures in the way God is. This practice is rooted in the belief that the faithful are connected in what's called the communion of saints, meaning that both the living and the dead in heaven are part of one spiritual community. It's not about treating them as gods, but about asking for their help in drawing closer to God. The key difference is that worship is reserved for God alone.
Oh, that's very interesting. And can you explain to me why there's certain religion or certain rituals that are paganistic in nature that are in Christianity? Can you explain to me which rituals these are and holidays and why the origins are of a pagan nature?
Yes, there are some Christian holidays and rituals that have origins or similarities with pagan traditions, often because the early church adapted or repurposed existing pagan festivals to ease the transition to Christianity in different cultures. Here are a few examples. Christmas, celebrated on December 25th, has roots in Roman paganism. The date aligns closely with the Roman festival of Saturnalia, a celebration of the winter solstice. It's believed that the church chose this date to make the shift to celebrating Christ's birth more natural for converts. Additionally, traditions like decorating Christmas trees are linked to older pre-Christian customs related to nature worship.
Christmas tree.
Easter also has some pagan influences. While it's the celebration
Paganism.
of Christ's resurrection, the timing coincides with pagan spring festivals that celebrated fertility and renewal, such as the worship of the goddess HDSOKU, from whom the name Easter is derived.
Oh.
Symbols like the egg and rabbit are also related to these fertility rites. Halloween, originally All Hallows Eve, has its roots in Samhain, a Celtic pagan festival marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter. The church rebranded it as the Eve of All Saints' Day to bring Christian meaning to a widely observed pagan event. The blending of these pagan elements into Christian rituals was a way to make the new religion more accessible to people who were already deeply connected to their native traditions. The early church often saw it as a way of reclaiming these practices for Christian purposes, while steering people away from pagan worship. Over time, many of these elements were given new meanings within the Christian context, though their origins remain.
Wow, I can actually see why it makes sense to do it and not to do it. I guess you guys will have to be the judge of what you want to do in your own household and whatever, but everyone gives meaning to the certain things. Like a Christmas tree, I had no idea that was rooted in paganism.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what ChatGPT just said.
I actually
But if you put up a Christmas tree, it doesn't mean that you're a pagan. Doesn't mean that you're worshiping pagan gods and all this and that, because you give it meaning, whatever you have. But also, I can see why it would make sense to try and bring other people to one God and say, hey, look, we'll do these holidays, but we'll just worship one God when we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also how it said the spiritual community. I do like that aspect, how it's like whenever people die and they go to heaven, essentially, they're all in a spiritual community. But I wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't pray to an individual other than God to, bless me with something specific or whatever it is, because why wouldn't you just ask God if it's all a part of the same thing anyways? Why not just ask God? Why go to an individual? So
yeah, I remember the saints being highly regarded in Catholicism. So basically for me growing up, I took PSR classes, which is basically, since church wasn't part of school, like regular day school, public school, you go to basically a religious class after school once a week or something, and then it prepares you to do your first communion, etc. And then I remember one time there was a big thing with the saints, and we all had to choose a saint and dress up as them, and then we got an extra middle name of that saint's name or something like that. So I remember them being highly, highly regarded. But yeah, it's one of those interesting things to think, because it's it really could be either way. Are these things so highly associated with paganism because there's, underlying bad intentions to make it more like paganism? Or is it just because it was actually meant to be for a good reason, because that's what people were already practicing and already accustomed to these dates and these types of customs and celebrations, and so it just seemed like the natural way, and also a way to kind of claim these things as a Christian practice instead of paganism? It's really hard to say. We weren't there, but I do think as time goes on, it really comes down to your intention with everything. I actually even have Muslim friends growing up in high school who they were Muslim, but their family still put up a Christmas tree and stuff, because it just came more so, it was more about culture, wasn't really about the religion. It was just something that children can still enjoy and have fun, because you're so surrounded by it that time of year, and you can kind of partake in it and still kind of enjoy it as a kid growing up or whatever. So it's one of those things. And yeah, I agree. It kind of just comes down to your household and your intentions, and what you believe in your heart is right.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Kelly, and a good perspective as well. And yeah, it's just one of those things where, you'll just have to decide for yourself what you guys want to do in your household. But I definitely think it's a cultural thing. And I love the holiday of Christmas, just giving, and the Christmas trees and the presents. It always
it's a magical
joy.
time.
Yeah, it's a magical time. And just very interesting indeed. So yeah, I hope you guys liked that video. That was a very, very cool topic that we discussed, and we're going to keep talking and doing different topics, because it's just giving us even more of a platform just to speak our mind and say what's going on. And we also have to thank everybody that donates to the channel. We appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. Just you being here, liking, subscribing, commenting is enough, but donating adds a completely different level, because sometimes we need it more than you realize, because it's a lot of work putting out these videos and taking the time to do this channel, but we're doing it dedicated to you guys. So thank you guys so much. We love you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.